A better route. Chapter 100. No one even knew it was possible, but Kurenai had actually managed to plan a wedding in just 2 weeks. She'd created her dream wedding with every little thing she'd wanted in whole world. Kurenai was worried that she was spending too much money, but Asuma just kept telling her to spend every last ryo she wanted to. It wasn't just Kurenai and Asuma that were happy either. No one had ever seen Hiruzen this happy before. Not many people knew he was even dying, he just seemed so full of life. The wedding was in just a few days away and whole the village wanted to attend. Luckily, they decided to go with a very private ceremony, with only friends and family being able to go so everyone would actually be able to enjoy themselves. It was one of the most important dates the Sarutobis had ever had and everyone was eager for it to arrive. Konohamaru shifted uncomfortably as his grandfather adjusted his dress kimono. Why do I have to wear this stupid thing? Can't I just wear normal clothes? Hiruzen chuckled. No, you can't. Your aunt loves the way you look in this and besides, the ringer bearer has to look nice. Konohamaru pouted. Fine, but once Uncle Asuma and Aunt Kurenai's wedding is over I'm taking this stupid thing off. Hiruzen finished the adjustments. Once we get to the reception you can change into something a little comfier. It still has to at least look nice though. Konohamaru could live with that. Okay, how much longer till it starts? Hiruzen looked at the clock. Oh, I'd guess about half an hour. Shikamaru walked in the room in his own dress kimono. Why do I have to wear this stupid thing? Hiruzen loved his timing. Shikamaru, you sound like a 12-year-old, literally. Anko looked at her kimono with a little disapproval. Doesn't show much skin. I was hoping to get Irika's blood pressure up. Kurenai laughed at her old friend. I'm sure you'll be doing plenty of that later tonight, Anko. Rin had just finished making Kurenai's dress look as good as she could. Oh, Kurenai, you look so beautiful, Asuma's gonna love it. Sakura agreed. Yeah, sensei, you look fantastic. Kurenai tried her best not to start crying tears of joy yet. She hugged the girl she'd come to see as a little sister. Thank you, Sakura, that means so much. Hinata watched the two with a smile on her face. She was about to comment when there was a knock on the door and Obito poked his head in. It's time to start. Is everybody in here ready? Kurenai wanted to get started fast. Yeah, if we don't hurry up I'm gonna start crying and ruin my makeup. Obito never did understand why women always cried before the wedding got started but figured he would just do as she asked. The Rookie 12, Team Guy, and several other important Leaf Ninjas had all gathered to view the wedding. Asuma was already standing on altar with Shikamaru, Choji, and Guy standing next to him. Konohamaru was down with the rings, just trying to get this over as soon as possible. Just as he got to the end of the aisle the music played to signal it was time for Kurenai to walk down. Everyone in the room turned to look as the doors opened and Kurenai came into view. It took everyone's breath away just to see her. Asuma's jaw dropped. Wow. Her kimono looked absolutely amazing. It showed off lovely body but it didn't look the least bit trashy. She didn't wear much makeup, letting more of her natural looks shine through. No one in the room could deny that she looked amazing. She walked up to the altar and smiled at her soon-to-be husband, giving him a gentle smile. Obito got the wedding started. Everyone, if you'll please take your seats we can begin the ceremony. Everyone sat down like they were asked and Obito started speaking again. I sure most of you know by now that public speaking isn't my strong suit, but on this occasion I can honestly say I know what I'm talking about. I married Rin when I was 16, which would mean we've been married 17 years now and in those years I've learned a few things about marriage. There are those who say it's all about compromise and there are those who say it's about communication. However, I've always said that marriage is about looking at someone and knowing that you never want to spend a day without seeing them. It's the best part of your day being getting to lie down next to them every night and being glad to wake up next to them every morning. You would never cheat on them because no one else in the world is good enough for you. Marriage is being unable to live without that person you love so much. You'll fight, you'll yell, you might even cry, but nothing could ever make you leave them. It's completely unconditional love, and I'm so glad that two of my closest friends get to share it with one another. Now, I believe the two of you have written your own vows. Asuma had written everything down, but had said it himself so many times that he had them memorized. Kurenai-chan, I know we didn't always get along, in fact I think there may have been a time you downright hated me. We were so different people that we weren't really ever willing to get to know one another. Honestly, I think I lost count of the number of times you flicked one of my cigarettes out of my mouth, and man, those poetry books you tried to get me to read had me banging my head on the table. Funny thing was though, I just kept coming back to talk to. Something in me wanted to be around you. I don't know why you said yes when I asked you out, maybe you felt the same way I did, and I sure as hell don't know what had you agreeing to second date after I took you to a barbecue joint, but I'm glad you did. You bring out a different side of me that I never knew I even had, and I'd like to think that I bring out a different side of you too. We improve each other, and that's what makes us so perfect. I love Kurenai-chan. Kurenai never knew something as beautiful as that could come out of Asuma. That's so sweet. Asuma-kun, when I first met you I thought you were filthy, disgusting, and just downright rude, but just like you there was something inside of me that just wanted to get to know you. Despite what you may think, I didn't hate you. I hadn't known you very well in the academy, but I couldn't help but respect your abilities and how much you cared about your friends. When we got out of the academy and we were put on missions together we definitely butted heads quite a bit. When you finally asked me out I said yes. I honestly had no idea why. You knew I was in a health kick, but you still took me to a barbecue and even went so far as to order me a rack of ribs and a beer. Funny thing was, I was so happy you did that. It was the unhealthiest thing I'd eaten in months and it felt so damn good. That date was first time I'd cut loose in ages. I finally started to get it, why you were so happy. You didn't worry about every little thing in the world, you just lived your life and tried to make things the best they could be for others. You and I are perfect for each other. I love you too, Asuma-kun. Obito really couldn't think of anything else to say at that point. Well said, you too, Asuma, you may kiss the bride. Asuma grabbed his wife and dipped her in a long kiss. They broke the kiss with Kurenai giggling and Obito saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time together I present Mr. and Mrs. Asuma Sarutobi." The crowd cheered as the two walked down the aisle. Hiruzen smiled brightly as the two of them walked down. He was very excited for the reception. The reception ended up being the party of the year. Everyone danced, drank, sang, pretty much everything you could ever do at a party. Hiruzen danced with just about every woman there, having the time of his life in the process. Tsunade kept trying to tell him to slow down and consider his health, but Sarutobi wasn't having it. He was too busy dancing with Kurenai to care. "Sensei, you've gotta calm down a bit." Hiruzen really didn't give a damn. "Leave my by Tsunade. If I can't dance with my new daughter then frankly life ain't worth living. Let me enjoy myself for a while." Kurenai laughed as he spun her again. "Hiruzen, you're such a good dancer." Hiruzen chuckled. "I told you, call me dad." Tsunade knew he was right, so she sat down and listened to the conversations around the room. He was clear her old sensei was just too happy to try and stop him. She just couldn't let him. Hiruzen opened the door to his home and gave a deep sigh. His old bones were screaming at him for dancing all night long and his liver was much worse off for wear, but frankly he didn't care. This just might have been the best night of his life. He took another deep breath and tried to get to his bed, but his legs began to shake too on him. His lungs weren't feeling great either and he started to cough like a madman. Falling to the ground, Hiruzen's cough began to worsen. It's sort of true what they say about your life flashing before your eyes before you die. The only thing is, you see the things that are most important to you, not everything. He saw his grandson challenging him so fights, he saw the moment those he loved died as well. Still though, his favorite had to be reliving his son's wedding once again. There were no worries on that day, he just absorbed every little moment of beauty the place had to offer. He'd had so many hard times in his life, but the ones that had stuck out the most to him were still those beautiful moments that couldn't be recreated. Hiruzen hadn't done everything right in his life, no, far from it. Still though, he could die happy knowing one thing: he'd built a better life for those around him whenever they could. He died with a smile on his face, as he thought about all of the wonderfully beautiful things in the world. See you in the next one.